So, last time we left off, and I just remember I'm on my chair. I don't want to be on this while recording a video anymore. That shit's too squeaky. Where should I go? Actually, everything is squeaky, so I might as well just sit down on the floor. So, last time we left off in my Ogage adventure, we left off with my customized Toy State GP20 or 30. I need to check again, but either way, that's where we left off. And after that video, in my trip to Corpus Christi, we went to a mall where I bought a gift card, and I was able to buy the Menards straight pieces of track and the inspection car set. And, well, that was perfect. Now I can build a train set. And here's some videos from that video that I just didn't make. And I'll explain why I didn't explain it in the video. Well, the original clips. I'm gonna do a quick review. So I like how they have their first their first model train, actual model locomotive, on the box of their first train set. And I'm gonna have to do this video quick since, yes, I like the inspection of the vehicles that come with this set. I just really need to track more right now, so. Okay, with a little bit of sanding on the drivers, it should be able to work. So yes, he's still wobbling on the track, but with a bit more sanding, I think we can make him work. Also, we might need to put some weight in that back end. Yep, we're slowly getting there. Right, that was a neat little thing. Now on to my, hold on. What are these? Ignore that. What are these? So basically, from there, I immediately got burnt out from Ogage since I was disappointed of the results. My Toy State Jeep does fit on Ogage track, but the problem is, the power truck is a bit thicker. What I mean by that, well, either the wheels are a bit too wide, which, yeah, the wheels are a bit too wide. So the engine just grabs the track instead of just riding through it. So that was a problem. And the only solution I did come up with to fix that was just sanding down the flanges, yet the engine still rides roughly on. Okay, it's just not worth it. So that's where we left off. And I haven't touched Ogage since, until one fateful day where we were leaving a Chinese buffet. My mom suggested that, hey, we should go to the fruit store today. That way we can get some things for your costume this year, because at the time it was October. At first I was reluctant since I just ate and I'm feeling kind of tired, but thank God we did, because when I went to the toy aisle and looked through all the toy junk that was on the shelves, underneath that pile of junk there was an engine that at first I thought it was a cheap battery-powered Lionel Scout and G-Gauge. But once I pulled the engine out, I realized it was die-cast metal. It was heavy, and it's a Lionel train. And today, folks, we are finally talking about my precious Lionel Hudson Jr. Cinderella. I got lots to talk about. Cinderella here. And I mean lots. And I keep getting ahead, behind, and all over the place when talking about her. So let's go through this step by step. Let me drink some water because I'm feeling a bit sick, and thanks to this cold weather, and well, my throat gets dry easily. But either way, let's continue talking about Cinderella. When I found her, I immediately got my phone and searched where she came from. And that's where I found out Cinderella here was a circus train. She came from a Lionel 2002 set called The Ballyhoo Circus. And I think they didn't went with Barnum and Bailey, since I think K-Line owned the license to that at the time. But that doesn't really matter. In that set, she came with a couple of animated circus cars and a tender, which I'm glad I didn't find, since it's one of those Lionel tenders I don't really like. And well, it does have a sound chip in it, but it only plays this. What type of goofy shit is this? So after doing my fine research, I went to my mom, because she's the only one that knows how to read the price tag of this thrift store, since they write their price tags like this. And this isn't a thing special to this thrift store. No, this thrift store is a part of a chain of thrift stores, kind of like Goodwill. In all the thrift stores going by the same name as this one, all write their price tags the same way. It's strange, but they do that. Either way, this engine costed me $5 and 54 cents. A price tag so great that I always mention it when I talk about her, and I rewrote it in my handwriting, and I put a clear coat. Can you focus, please? There we go. I'll post a picture right here, but basically has Cinderella on top of the number, and it has her price tag. Just simple $5. None of that cents crap. On our way to the cash register and on our way home, I looked over the engine to see if anything wrong. Of course, her rollers looked a bit scorched and dirty, and her traction tires were dry to all hell and were cracking. So once I got home, I ripped those off. But I'm on the way. I also posted her on Twitter and everywhere on my social media, and everyone was astonished that I got this engine for only $5. And a lot of people, and a few of my friends, and immediately offer advice of how to maintain the model and whatnot, which was really nice, and I really appreciate it. And also on my way home, I was also looking for a tender for Cinderella, which I was originally gonna get her a 6-axle tender, which was a tender that the more specialized tender engines would have, and well, the Hudson's rare. But unfortunately, that tender was either rare, still comes with the engine it was made for, or is a rail sounds tender, which is expensive and rare, which, oh well. But either way, I did find a tender for her, but we'll talk about it later. So, for a good while, I did not know that she ran, until my friend suggested that I just set up a loop, I rig up a HSL controller that I don't really care for, and I've been testing this. She worked. And she moved. She limped along the line since she didn't have her traction tires, but either way, she moved and she worked, which I was astonished. I'm on my chair now since my knees hurt, so expect some creaking and cracking, but I hope you don't mind. Oh, that sounded horrible. At first I thought I would have to do a bit of work on her, either resolder a couple of joints or fix up the rods or something, but no, she ran perfectly, which really says something about her. She's a true tank. So after the confirmation, I went back to looking for a tender for her, and also a speed controller, an actual Lionel controller that she's meant to be run with. And along with those two things, I also got a little treat for myself, since it's the coolest Lionel O-Gauge piece ever. And I'll show you in another video. I promise, hopefully. So, right before my trip to Chicago, I got my things, and, well, now I have I have everything I need to play with O-Gauge. So, since I'm done with talking about her backstory with me, I'll soon talk about her backstory that I came up with. Let's talk about Cinderella herself. So Cinderella here is one of Lionel Hudson Jr. I believe they came from a Lionel engine. I forgot the number, but it's basically this engine right here. That's her grandmother. Of course, at some point after testing her, I did paint her up a bit. Her original Ballyhoo Circus livery just had a red stripe going along her running board, but I extended that to her step ladders. I put some cream color on her step ladders and a cow catcher. I gave her a red roof, and also I completely painted her tender, because the tender, by the way, this is a K-line tender that I got for pretty cheap, but $9. And one thing that amazed me about it is that it has sprung trucks. And mind you, this was a tender made for a train set, I believe. I think K-Line also made a separate cell version of this same Santa Fe Hudson or Pacific. I don't remember exactly, but either way, it still amazed me that it has sprung trucks. But oh, that's amazing, and I really love these sprung trucks. I also continued the red lining onto the tender and also the tan colors, and also painted the top of the tender red. And I also did these few things. I put a big Lionel sticker on her tender, and I painted a little 4-leaf clover, since she's my lucky find and she's my lucky engine. So yeah, other than a couple of paint touch-ups of my own, Cinderella was pretty much maintenance free. I did lubricate her a bit on her side rods and whatnot, and of course I did replace her traction tires, which, if you were to buy traction tires, I highly recommend you get them from Lionel themselves. I got mine from Train Z, and well, of course it's the same Lionel traction tires, but for one, if you were to order just one, you wouldn't get a pair, you just get one traction tire. Luckily, I was a bit skeptical and I ordered two just in case, and well, I got 2 traction tires for 2 wheels, which is needed, but yeah, oh well, because I kind of overpaid for those traction tires. But either way, I just did so since, well, I put the money on an eBay card, and yeah, I can only use eBay itself to order everything I need. So yeah, and also you probably notice all these paint chips on her, which I don't mind. She's a Lionel train. She's a rugged, tough thing. And these paint chips tell stories. Not only that, they just prove the fact that these things are tough, mean things. And I love them. And speaking of stories, here's one story I like to tell about Cinderella, which I believe is highly true. So around 2002, the same year Cinderella was released, she was sold in a Sears. And she was bought by a family who wanted to run a Lionel train around the tree and just have a train to play with. The recession didn't really hit hard to most folks as it did in 2009. Either way, she was beloved by the family and gave him good years of service, judging by the paint chips she had when I first got her. I gave her more after playing with her. It's pretty funny. But eventually, I assume the kids of this family lost interest in the train. And eventually, pieces and parts of the set started getting lost. And, well, eventually, probably the mother or someone from that family donated Cinderella to a thrift store where I found her. Now, the reason why this story is a bit special to me is because, well, for one, I used to go to Sears when I was a kid. And I know they sold Lionel trains. Here's pictures to prove it. And a little account from myself. I remember we were leaving Sears. Well, we were leaving the mall and we were going through Sears. I remember seeing a little Lionel sign on top of a shelf filled with Toy Story train sets, Caterpillar train sets. That was the most amazing thing I ever saw. Not only that, this Sears is a part of Memorial Mall. A mall that is also influential in my love for model trains, since that mall has a model train club, had Thomas Wooden Railway items in the Target, and it's just an amazing mall to me. And it was a magical place back then for me. It's still pretty good, don't get me wrong. You got Target. And this Memorial Mall isn't that far away from the thrift store, like 20 minutes. And what does this all mean? Well, it means she was always in Houston. Meaning, it was almost fate that she would land in my hands. Or future me recording here because I wasn't so proud of the original ending. So, I forgot to mention the reason why I gave Cinderella the name, well, Cinderella, is because, well, multiple reasons. For one, to what most people consider a thrift store, they consider it as a dump. So I basically found her in a dump, and, well, she was just the gold in an abandoned coal mine. But what else? She was also missing her tender, just like a princess losing their slipper. Except the tender is much more important because that's your damn fuel, goddammit. But the main reason why I named her Cinderella is because some of you might know that I am Hispanic, and we have a slang term for the thrift store, which is called singunera, which is basically slang for second hand, which is fitting for a thrift store since, you know, a thrift store is a second hand shop. Yeah. As a kid, around the time when I had a hyperfixation for the Cinderella movie, I will always think the word singunera also had a similar meaning to Cinderella. Yeah, as I got older, I realized, oh, no, it's not that. But yeah, so, that childhood memory did come to mind, and I just decided, you know what, I found her at a thrift store, why don't I call her Cinderella? And also, the two other reasons also influenced the fact that I named her Cinderella. But yeah, I'm gonna leave y'all off with some running footage of her. I need to make a video about you guys, and Yeah. Also, in the future, I'm gonna try to cut down of my chit chat and make things quick and simple. That way, the videos won't be long and be hour-long essays. Because not every video is special to me. It's just a video of me wanting to talk about something. But yeah, let's hope this year's videos will be shorter but better. That way people can just watch them through instead of just maybe watching half of it and just leaving because of. I don't know y'all viewing habits of my videos, but here's some running footage.
Set 'em up in the living room from the morning till 9:30. Now I'm just a big old boy, but I still love my Lionel train. It's still such a